Hey guys, it's T-Man here, and T-Carp I think is going to try to sign on a little later on. He got work he's doing, and so I'm going to go here single wingling again this morning. And I guess the title of this one here, everybody knows it's Gator Week. And I guess the title of this one is After That Fiasco, What's Next? You know, we come out of the Arkansas game with a lot of questions. I've got a lot of fans that send their comments, and we'll get into it here in a few minutes. But you know, not only was it disappointing, but it left a lot of question marks. You know, we know that Nico is talented, and we know it's going to take a little while, but the offensive line is really struggling, and it has been for several weeks now. And so I don't know what that's going to entail or be for the future, but what I do know that questions I have, what did they do during the bye week? You come off a bye week, you pretty much know that Oklahoma has got a good plan defensively against your offense. So it's kind of a blueprint that you know that whoever you're playing is going to change their defense if they have time to do that, to play to your weaknesses. And questions I want to know is, and maybe I can get some comments on this, why don't we roll Nico out more? We had that one play come out of the chute, he rolled out, he throwed, and then we had a penalty, but I don't know of them doing that much. And why are we not getting our playmakers on the outside more? Why are we not trying to get our wide receivers and well, even our running backs? Sampson, on the outside, I think he'd be a handful. Those questions I have. I know that we've got a lot of fans that give comments, and so we'll look at the comments there, but we got to turn and focus on Florida, and you know, Florida's Florida. So I don't know what it's going to entail. I don't know what we're going to be into, but this is Florida week, and then the week after that is Alabama. And now that we have one loss, when we play Alabama, one of us is going to have two losses. So let's get into the show. We got a big show for you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy it. I hope you guys maybe get some information you didn't know and look at things a little differently. Chip Payne. Chip, appreciate you contributing to our channel, and appreciate you week after week giving your input, because it means a lot. And anybody out there that's listening, all you got to do is DM me at Turkey Man Steve. Everybody knows what my Twitter handle is, and you can send out your DM in your questions for this coming week, and we'll try to get it on. Chip Payne said I'm disappointed how the team played, except for the defensive line. At the last possession, I asked this question, and I want to stop right here before I continue on. I asked this question to the fans that contribute to our channel and call in or send in their comments. How did you feel about the last 2 minutes of letting them score, and just how you felt about it? And I have my feelings on it. There's been times in the past our offense was so potent that our defense was just stunk, that I really had a problem with of us not letting them score. Give us a chance to take the last 2 minutes and win the game with offense. But offense is just struggling like all get out. I'm disappointed in defense. They couldn't they couldn't stop a nosebleed, as I think Big Orange Mac said. And so what I have a problem with is not that they let them score. Understand and listen to me here. Don't misquote me. I have a problem with the chemistry of the team because the defense has played well enough to win the game. And now you're asking the defense that's kept you in the game to lay down and let them score and turn the ball back over to the offense that hadn't done nothing all night and didn't do nothing the rest of the night. So that chemistry, that's my concern. Chip Payne said, I was disappointed how the team played, except for the defensive line. The last possession, it was our best interest to let them score. They did have a second-string kicker, which at that flag that caused that was, I thought, running into a kicker on that penalty that hurt us. That really changed the game, and it was not a roughing the kicker. The kicker we're talking about here, the place kicker, he looked like he pulled something when he kicked his last field goal or tried his last field goal attempt. He said they had the second-string kicker in, and speaking of Nico, we ran out of bounds, and we turned the ball over. We now need to turn our attention to Florida. You know, Nico is just a freshman. It's entirely different than the time that we had a 5-year senior or 6-year senior, whatever he was, he was playing Ole Miss. He'd had, I think, 3 years, talking about Joe Bilton, had 3 years at Michigan and 1 year at Tennessee, and Hendon Hooker got hurt in that Ole Miss game. I happened to get the chance to see that game. And we have one, very similar. We only had one play, you chuck it to the end zone, or if you're going to run, you take it to the house. You take on whoever and try to score. But tippy toe out of bounds with not giving you a chance to catch the ball. You know, as we look back in the Georgia game, remember probably, I think the last time we beat Georgia, as I can remember, was Jennings, Jamar Jenkins. Yeah. I get said to me, and I apologize. Jennings makes the catch and a Hail Mary from Dobbs, and we won the game. So you gotta give you a chance to win in that last possession. So he'll learn from that. He is a freshman, and you know, we need to give him a pass on that, but he'll learn. But needs more experience than that. You know, as Chip says, we have Bama in 2 weeks, and somebody's going to be 10-2 after that game. And that's where a loss to Arkansas or a team like that puts you behind the 8 ball, because we got enough teams that we will have to play our best game to win. And when you have a 14-point underdog that takes you to woodshed, it's really hard to deal with. Seth Stokes, he thinks it was a terrible game. Coaching, clock management wasn't good. Nico is talented, but he has a ways to go at this level before he is an elite. Trying to do too much and not letting the game come to him, so to speak. The O-line is weak in pass protection, and well, considering that they've got a little or no help from the offense for the majority of the night, I mean, that's it in a nutshell. Our offensive line, it doesn't help him, doesn't help our team, especially in pass protection. You know, I'm concerned about our depth at the receiver, because there's receivers that I thought would really be stepping up at this time. Mike Matthews, our 5-star phenom wide receiver, freshman. I figured that he would be really playing now. I don't know where he's at and why he's not playing. Chaz Nimrod, we've seen him playing, and he looks like he catches about everything you throw to him. And I just know that we've got to try other receivers because they're not getting open. And now we're going to have Brew with an injury. I don't know how bad Squirrel is injured, and I'm not sure the health of Thornton. So we're going to depend on them freshmen and the ones that haven't been playing, and makes you wonder just how good they have shown in practice to be sitting on the bench the way they have. Big Orange Mac, one of our contributors, he asked about letting, I asked about letting them score, that the defense was not going to stop them. You're right, we can't stop a nosebleed all of a sudden, but letting them score give us the opportunity to try to score. Well, that's pretty much where we was at. But clock management, the production of our offense is pretty disappointing, especially when you're known and against the weak opponents. We've been looking lights out, and so you know, I don't know. I think it's too early to really tell, but I think those, as we say, those things in darkness are going to be brought to light. We're going to find out sooner or later coming up. Scott from North Carolina. Speaking of North Carolina, speaking of Upper East Tennessee, and today those in Florida, Georgia, that's been hit with the hurricanes and the tornadoes, we need to uplift them, leave it in our prayers, and remember in the prayers, because these people lost family members and lost everything they had. So, Scott, I know that you live in North Carolina. Don't know about the area. You assured me you was okay, but I know you're like us, that we have people that we know that's not doing well. So remember them in prayer. Scott says, that he laid the loss, the Arkansas loss, at the feet of the O-line. That's it. Last 2 weeks, when we played Oklahoma, offensive line looked awful. I put this right at the feet of the offensive line. When we do have a good play, or it looks like a good play, we have an offensive lineman too far downfield. Either you don't know what the play is going to be, or you don't know we'll have a false start. I can't blame it on the rest, because they'll show it, and here we're moving. We have to be disciplined. We have to, and it comes up front from the offensive line. They're the ones that wins the game in the trenches, and we have got to help our defense out. I agree with you, Scott. He lays it right at the feet of the offensive line. Talk about that last call of letting them score. The last call was the only thing we could have done, and I struggled with clock management and blew a timeout. You know, I can't argue what he's saying. I really and truly, I thought that our coach had really stepped up in a lot of ways, but he's struggling. And I go back to my first question. What did we do during the bye week? What did we achieve? What did we set out to achieve in the bye week? And, you know, I know it's what Scott says here, Florida game, and he feels that we'll see a different team, and we're still in an opportunity for a playoff. But if you go back, and I've said this, leave no doubt. Go back and look at that. That was early on, and I pretty much laid it out that we can't afford to have these goose eggs against teams that we are supposed to beat, and we don't step up and play our A game. You know, there's a saying, you're only as good as as your worst day. And there's a lot to that. You know, you may not have your best outing, but you put your best foot forward and you just don't quit. You just don't keep getting worse. We got work to do, and I'm very disappointed. And I know I'm not the only one, but you know, I've been through this before. Like I said last week, I'm a Vol fan. I got my pom-pom in one hand, my cup in the other. I'm prepared for it to come. But we're Gator Week, and let's get up for it. And you know, I know that they're coming up with a lot of family members that you know, I don't know the situation in Florida, but it doesn't look good. Last count I had, and we need to remember in prayer. Brent, Kevin, and Andy, they're die-hard Orange fans. I mean, if you look at what a Tennessee fan is, these three that call in, I put them right there. They're always a cup that's half full. It's not half empty, and they're die-hard. They're saying, you know, Vols, good, bad, or indifferent. They bleed orange, and they're ready to turn to the Gators, and we'll see a different team this week, they said, and we'll see what lies ahead. And you know, thank you all for your support. I really do. I appreciate it. And you can help us out by hitting that like button. Don't cost you nothing to subscribe. I'd really appreciate it to see them thumbs up. We have 20 people that watch our video. I hope I get 20 thumbs up. And I think we will see a different team. We're playing at home. We always play at home, and so let's remember all the players that has lost everything, all the family members and all that have lost. Let's remember them in prayer. We've got players on the team that have got family members that's really they don't know where they're at. Well, I'm hearing. So let's remember and keep them in prayer. The ones that's lost their homes, lost their families, and going through the trial right now in the flood and all. Our scripture for this week is Romans, the 8th chapter, 28th verse. It says, "And we know that all things work for the good of them that love God, to them who are called according to His purpose." Well, that's a wrap this week, and I hope you guys have a good one. And